You're a brand owner, you're at 100K, 200K, maybe 500K a month in revenue, but you're stuck, right? You've tried out a bunch of stuff, but you cannot crack this 1 million per month mark that you so desperately want to crack, right? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what the next steps are for you in order to break through this plateau and clear the way so you can scale to 1 million a month and more. I've done that not only in my own brand, but also in multiple other brands, right, that I've helped to implement all of that and essentially grow over 1 million a month, okay? So let's jump right in. We only have 8 minutes, so I'll be super quick and efficient. The number one thing is you got to this point by doing what you were doing up until now. But when you see that you're stuck, this means that whatever you're doing now is not going to take you to the next level. And this is something that I see a lot of times when brands come to me, they're doing like 100K, 200K a month, right? And they can't figure out how to get to the 1 million. Essentially, you have to stop doing 80% of what you're doing and take the 20% and add new 80%, okay? So this is what I'm going to talk about now. Number one is you will have to improve your front-end offer, because one reason why you're stuck is that you just cannot scale the budgets more. Whenever you try to scale your budgets more, that's where the efficiency drops, okay? And then you have to scale back again and so on and so forth. Now, one thing that I see with a lot of brands is that they never really had to work on the front-end offer because it just worked for this initial stage to get to the 100, 200, 500K. But what we're talking about now, once you want to cross the 1 million per month, this means you need to get in front of colder audiences, right? So our offer has to be even more interesting so that we actually are able to convert cold audiences, okay? So what do I do in order to do that? Number one, I increase the perceived value. Okay, very simple, right? So let's say you have, you know that one of your most bought product is a bundle, okay? Then you need to clearly communicate. This is actually the first thing that I see in many brands. They don't really communicate how much do you save, right? This alone can lead to you having better conversions, just making people understand it more, okay? So let's say you have a bundle. The real value is like 150 bucks. Okay, what's going on here? 150 bucks, and you're selling it for 99 bucks. Okay, so that's essentially 33% savings. You need to communicate that, right? If people don't see that and you don't communicate it in different ways, also like how much, like you're basically saving $51, then people will not understand. Okay, it will be very hard to convince them. Now, this is obviously an extreme example. Maybe you're not at 150, but the value is actually 120. Then I ask myself, how can I get it to 150, right? So what are potentially products that I can add to the mix that don't cost me a lot, but that increase this perceived value and just make this offer stronger, right? Whatever I'm getting for these 99 is just more, right? It could be digital products as well. It could be free gifts. Whatever you have that makes sense, this is what I do because that just increases the attractiveness of the offer. The flip side of that is actually the risk, okay? How can I reduce the risk on this purchase? Very simple answer, guarantee, right? And don't be shy with the guarantee because in many cases you have a very low refund rate. So basically all of the people keep the products, especially then. Don't just offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. Offer a 60-day, 90-day, 180-day. Test it, right? This will just help more people to convert. Let's move fast. Reevaluate more scalable angles, okay? That's another one. Many brands, they get to this point just, doing, basic product, ads, and, it's very easy actually to get to 100K. Right? If you know what you're doing, even if you don't know what you're doing, if you're in the right niche with the right product, you're at 100K, 200K, whatever. But once you get Past that, like this initial low-hanging fruits, that's where you have to have a strategy, okay? And what I do here, what I recommend brands doing here, and what is working really well, is to really understand for your product, what are all the potential angles, okay? So there might be 5, 3, okay? Identify them first. So first you identify them, and then secondly, you validate them, right? You basically say, okay, this is not an angle, this not, this not, this not. Okay, so we have these 2 angles, for example, that are the ones that make the most sense. So angles, you could think of it as different target audiences stand behind these angles, and depending on who I'm talking to, I would position my product in a different way. I just had a call with like a perfume brand, and we were talking about, okay, if somebody would come to your physical store and would want to buy perfumes, if it's somebody that is like a male, 48 years old, you would pitch your perfumes differently, potentially even different products, than if somebody would walk into your store that is like 22, right? So this is something that is really, really important, because as soon as you locked in this angle and you validated this angle, that's where you basically double down. That's the third step, is really just to produce a bunch of assets for these angles that are winning, including mapping out the funnels for these people to then further scale within this target audience, okay? Super, super important. We want to simplify things. We don't want to overcomplicate stuff. Last step, cold converting ads and funnels first. This is something that a lot of people, again, struggle with. So when you look at your funnel, okay, this is your funnel within your angle, right? You have, let's say, cold audiences, you have warm, and you have hot audiences, to super simplify things. Most of the brands, because they got to, let's say, 100K a month, and this is what I meant by you have to forget the 80% that you're doing currently. They're just doing creatives in these 2, right? Which is mainly actually in this, right? Which is very product focused. Then you try to, do a bunch of UGC, but still talking only about the product. And the problem is the messaging and who you're actually talking to. So you should be talking mainly, like 80% of your efforts should go into cracking this cold, huge audience, right? So this audience is like 10, 50, 100 times bigger than the audience that you're targeting currently, okay? So here should go all of your creative efforts, or basically almost all of them, to actually, make it work, okay? So produce only cold converting ads that get in front of colder audiences, speak to people that don't actually know your product or your brand, and convert them. Same thing with the funnels, okay? Super quick rundown. If you want to know more about how all of these things work, this is what I teach founders in my mentorship, right? Where I have currently 30 brands that work with me, where I teach them how to do all of that in-house. No need for an agency, no need to be scammed by people that, drag you through month-long, problems. And that's basically it, right? You can click the first link in the description, apply, see who I work with, see how I help brands, and then we talk there. Also, make sure to check out the rest of my channel, a bunch of valuable stuff. Take care.